Today you're going to see the storybook concert, but we're going to start out with a small group that has been learning recorders, and a few of them had started learning recorders in 3rd grade. But when COVID hit, we couldn't do recorders for a while. And so this last 9 weeks, they have been learning how to play the recorders. And they've come quite a ways in a few weeks. The first song they're going to do is called Cross Buns, and it's the piece everybody plays. The orchestra kids, that was the first piece they played. We played on recorder too. So here is the 4th and 5th grade recorder ensemble, and they're going to do Cross Buns, followed by Rain, Rain, Go Away.
Deep in the water where the fish hang out is a gloomy swimmer with an ever-present pout.
I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout face, and I spread the cherries all over the place. Love, love, love.
Along comes a clam with a wide-winning grin and a pearl of advice for her pal to take in.
Hey, Mr. Fish with your cross down frown, don't you think it's time to turn it upside down?
Says the fish to his friend.
Nice thought, Miss Clam. I hear what you're saying, but it's just the way I am.
I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout face, and I spread the cherries all over the place. Love, love, love.
Along comes a jellyfish, she floats through the ocean, her tentacles are trailing in a gentle locomotion. Hey, Mr. Fish, with your daily scaly scowl, I wish you wouldn't greet us with a grumps and a growl.
Says a fish to his friend.
Miss Jelly, I agree. I'd like to be more friendly, but it isn't up to me.
I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout taste, and I spread the cherry berries all over the place. Glub, glub, glub.
Along comes a squid, like a squid, squiggly side. She was squirming, she was squelching, she was slightly impolite.
Hey, Mr. Fish, you colitis double glow. Have a little smile, a little joy, a little hope.
Said the fish to his friend. Mrs. Squid, I would try, but I haven't any choice. Take a look and you'll see why.
I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout taste, and I spread the cherry berries all over the place. Glub, glub, glub.
Along comes an octopus with 8 great arms, covered on the underside with tiny sucker charms.
Hey, Mr. Fish. Hey, Mr. Fish, let me tell it to you straight. Your hulky bulky smoking is an unattractive trait.
Says the fish to his friend.
Mr. 8, my chum, with a mouth like mine, I'm destined to be blown.
I'm a pout-pout fish with a pout-pout taste, and I spread the cherry berries all over the place. Glub, glub, glub.
Along comes a fish in his silent silver shimmer. The game has never seen before this bright and brilliant swim.
She approaches Mr. Fish, but instead of saying hey, she plants a kiss in front of his house, and then she swims away.
Mr. Fish is most astounded. Mr. Fish is just aghast. He is stone-faced like a statue, then he blinks and speaks at last.
My friends, I should have known it all along. I thought that I was pouty, but it turns out I was wrong.
I'm a kiss fish with a kiss face, and I spread the cherries all over the place. Smooth, 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 smooth,
The owl was hot, was waiting for the moon. The pig with the umbrella was waiting for the rain. The bear with the kite was waiting for the wind. The puppy on the sled was waiting for the snow. The rabbit with stars wasn't waiting for anything in particular. He just liked to look out the window and wait. When the moon came up, the owl was happy. It happened a lot. When the rain came down, the pig was happy. The umbrella kept her dry. When the wind blew, the bear was happy. The kite flew high and far. When it finally snowed, the puppy was happy. He'd waited a very long time. The rabbit was happy just looking out the window. Sometimes one or the other of them went away, but he or she always came back. Sometimes they slept, but mostly they waited. Sometimes gifts appeared. Once a visitor arrived from far away. He stayed a while, then he left and never returned. Many wonderful, interesting things. Shapes and clouds, a rainbow, lightning, snow and ice, fireworks. And of course, there was always the moon, and the rain, and the wind, and the snow to keep them happy. Joined them. Was she waiting for the moon? No. Was she waiting for the rain? No. Was she waiting for the snow? No. She didn't seem to be waiting for anything in particular. Oh, but she was. Now there were 10 of them, and they were happy together, waiting to see what would happen next.
Ran downstairs and raced out the door to discover the wise owl had appeared in his night. As if by magic, William spent the whole day staring at it in wonder, and he continued to stare until it became too dark to see. That night, he went to sleep with a sense of excitement. The following morning, William was not disappointed.
Happy
topiary. Next was a friendly rabbit, followed by a pretty parakeet, and then a playful elephant. With each new sculpture, the crowds grew and grew. Something was happening on Grimlock Lane. Something good.
Magical sight happens each night in the town where I live. We are asleep without making a peep. The night gardener gives us his heart.
The next day, William dashed out of his home and followed the crowds, only to find the most magnificent masterpiece yet. Festivities continued long after the sun had set. As William was about to head home, he spotted someone unfamiliar. Could it be? The gentleman turned to William. "There are so many trees in this park. I could use a little help." It was the night gardeners. Under the light of the full moon, they worked deep into the night.
Magical sight happens each night in the town where I live. We are asleep without making a peep. The night gardener gives us his heart.
William awoke to the sound of happy families walking by and a gift from the night gardener. The whole town had come out to admire the night gardener's and William's hard work. Over time, the leaves changed and they fell until there was no evidence that the night gardener had ever been to Grimlock Lane. But the people of the small town were now never the same, and neither was William.
Magical sight happens each night in the town where I live. We are asleep without making a peep. The night gardener gives us his heart.
The end.
The sun had set, and the shadows clinging to the walls of the cave began to wake and whisper. The bat mother said to her child, "Cheer up, little wing. Tonight you must fly out into the world, and I will wait here for you."
But the night is dark, Mama. Darker than the most dark eyes. Darker even in the water before dawn.
I know.
And when it is that dark outside, I cannot always see.
There are other ways to see, other ways to help you make your way in the world.
How?
Use your good sense.
What is sense?
His mother folded him into her wings and sings and whispers into his waiting ears. Sense is the song you sing out into the world, and the song the world sings back to you. Sing and the world will answer. That is how you will see. Now fly from our cave to the pond where the bats like to eat best. Have your breakfast, then fly home. But do not go farther than the pond, not unless your song is sure. Then she let him go. Shiro fell into the cold air for an instant, then flapped and turned and flew out past the mouth of the cave and into the waking night. At first, Chiro tried to peer his way through the dark. Long arms rose up above in front of him, waving slowly, blocking his path. He could not see around them or over them. Chiro was frightened. But then he remembered his mother's bright words, "Use your good sense." Chiro began to sing, softly at first, but then more surely. His song flew ahead of him, and soon he could hear something singing back. Tall trees called out to him, chanted the links of their song, long branches in the girths of their rough trunks. Gleefully he flew through the woods, past the pines, over maples and away. Flying higher now, Chiro saw something sliding through the sky toward him. So out went his song, and where danger once threatened, now Chiro saw only a flock of friends flying above him on their evening errands. As he flew farther, Chiro heard strange sounds, lines of noise, 1,000 voices buzzing from one end of the sky to the other. For just a moment, Chiro didn't know what to do or which way to go. But he followed his own song. In the sky behind him flowed a river of whispers, fading away. The pond was just ahead. When Chiro came to the pond, singing still, he was very hungry. All the night creatures were there above the reeds, thousands of tiny little flying tasty things, each one humming a different tune. For Chiro, each of their songs sounded like breakfast. Chiro ate well that night. When he was full, he stretched his wings again and threw out about flying home. But he began to wonder just a little. What lay beyond the pond? What lay beyond his mother's words? So Chiro flew a bit farther, and a familiar way fell away from him. Out to the margins of the world. Then he was truly on his own. He flew fast toward a high dune, each grain of sand calling out in chorus as he passed. Chiro flapped up and over and top of the dune and out over the strand, singing louder than he'd ever sang before. Went his song over dark water then. Again and again, each wave on the ocean rising up to greet him, each splash of sea foam becoming kin to him. The sky began to change, grow light, and cast long shadows over the shore. With the morning came memory, his mother's voice, her warm wings. Chiro knew it was time to go home. Flying higher than he'd ever flown, Chiro began to sing. Listening. The music of the land rose up in all of its many textures. Each tree, each cliff, each place he passed, until finally the song of home added its voice to the others. His cave called out from the blanketing shrubs and pillows of moss at its mouth, and Shiro followed that familiar sound back into the sheltering earth. His mother caught him up, all up in her wings, and asked, "Was it very dark in the world, little wing? What did you see?"
My mama, it was very, very dark, and I saw everything.
And then he yawned and turned his head into the warmth of her body, letting the rising sun's quiet song carry him, lull him, sing him to sleep. There's a quake and a quiver and a rumbling around. It makes you shiver. It's a thundery sound.
Shake, shake, shudder, here's a fuzzy old swamp. The dinosaurs are coming, get ready to romp.
Donk, donk, donk. Here's Triceratops jumping up and down, doing dinosaur hops. He wears 3 horns on his big bony head and thunders around with a bump, bump tread.
Shake, shake, shudder, here's a fuzzy old swamp. The dinosaurs are coming, get ready to romp.
Watch out for Dinosaurumpus with her snip-snap grin as she perches on her tails and twists in a spin. Apatosaurus stops for a slushy-mushy snap. His tail starts swinging with a thwack, thwack, thwack.
Shake, shake, shudder, here's a fuzzy old swamp. The dinosaurs are coming, get ready to romp.
Pteranodon dives with a swift, sharp swoop. He shrieks out, "Eek!" as he swirls in a loop. Stegosaurus stomps along with lots of her playmates. Clatter, clatter, clatter go her bony back plates.
Shake, shake, shudder, here's a fuzzy old swamp. The dinosaurs are coming, get ready to romp.
Styracosaurus shakes his collar and his spikes. Rattle, rattle, rattle is the noise that he likes. A pack of Deinonychus go running by fast with a zoom, 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 so they won't be last.
Shake, shake, shudder, here's a fuzzy old swamp. The dinosaurs are coming, get ready to romp.
Donk, bonk, snip, snap, twist, thwack, eek, clatter, rattle, zoom, zoom, come and take a peek.
Shake, shake, shudder, here's a fuzzy old swamp. Everybody's doing the dinosaur romp.
Roar, roar, roar! What makes that sound? The dinosaurs stop and there's silence around. Roar, roar! Now we're shivering with fright. What can make a noise like that in the night? Tyrannosaurus crashes in, gnashing his jaws. Wallop on the ground go his big black back claws. He's huge and he's heavy, but all he wants to do is join in the romp, so why don't you?
Shake, shake, shudder, here's a fuzzy old swamp. Everybody's doing the dinosaur romp.
Get romping with T-Rex and stomp, stomp, stomp. Wave your arms madly, make your feet go bump. The dinosaurs won't scratch us or bite us or thump us.
They just want to holler up a Dinosaurumpus. A Dinosaurumpus gives a sizzle and a zing. It makes you want to shout, jump, jiggle, and sing. But soon all the rompers grew sleepy and slow. The rumpus calms down and the sound drops low. The rompers drift together and tumble in a heap, till finally the dinosaurs are all fast asleep. And now the only noise in the deep of the night is dinosaurs snoring till the next day's light. The end.